Hello, hi, and welcome back to learning how to code by making the video game, specifically Flappy Bird. Last week we got so far as, we have a bird, the bird flies, we can jump, or rather fly upwards, and we have some pipes that the bird can collide with. So, this time I want to see how we could make a bigger level and how to make this pipe generation a bit easier. We wouldn't want to write this much code every single time that we want to create a pipe. So that should already give us a hint as to what we want to do. Whenever we want to do something repeatedly, we want to use a function. So I will copy all of this code and I will maybe even make a new tab, call this -- pipe. So now it will say pipe when I hover over it, and I will write function create pipe parentheses and paste the contents here. So now let's see what we need, what this function needs. If I would just create the pipe right now, just call create pipe. Should this work? Let's see, maybe this should work because it will be called, it will create these variables. Okay, it should work, and it does work, so that's great. But we want to be able to tell our function, hey, I want a pipe at this spot and I want the gap to be x. So this spot will be the x position. The y can always be 0. The height can be, well, we'll need to see about the height. And the width can be hard-coded as well. We can set this to 32 and just be happy with it. And the gap will have to be passed in to the function. And the same with this stuff here. So let's see. The first thing that we need is an x position. So I will have the function take in a variable called x, and I will set this to be the pipe's x. So now if I call this, there's an error because x is a nil value. But if I go here and say create pipe at 50, it creates a pipe at x of 50. Now let's say that it will also take in a gap, and the gap will be, I will call this a local gap, so that actually we can get rid of this gap, I think, because the gap will already be in a variable that is called gap. So now if I go back here and I put in the gap that we had, 60, then we see that it's the same. If I change the gap to 10, then the gap is very small. Right. So what can we do? How can we make this more dynamic? We have the x and we have the gap. So the entire screen is, I'll just make some notes here. It's 128. So this has to be the total height of the pipe, or the two pipes, including the gap. So let's say that the gap will be at the center. We also might need to specify where we want the gap to begin, because otherwise it will be always at the same place. So maybe we can say gap start, or okay, we can say gap y, and we can say gap height. So now we can say gap starts at here, at let's say y of 50, and it will go for the height of the gap. So this will mean that the height of this is what is this? It will be gap y, I think. So let's see, I'll just write some test variables. So let's say that we get something called x is 20, gap y is 20, and gap height is 40. So this means that x will be 20. This is easy. This will be 0. This is easy. We want the pipe to extend 20 pixels from the top, so that corresponds to gap y, and the width will be 32, which is also fine. Now pipe 2 will be an empty table to begin with. The x will be the same. The y will be pipe x dot y plus pipe dot h, which makes sense, plus gap. This also makes sense. And the height of this can be 128 minus pipe dot y, pipe dot h. So the height of the first pipe and the gap, and the width can be 32. So now, if we haven't made any mistakes, we should be able to say that I want to create a pipe at 50, I want the gap to start at 20, and I want the gap to be 60 pixels in height. Didn't work. Global gap, a nil value. Where are we calling? Ah, okay, because it's no longer gap, it's now called gap height, because it needs to match up with this one. And now, okay, so that looks plausible. What if we say I want the gap to start at 5, so at the very, very top, and have it be 30 pixels? Okay, that looks like it might be possible. And what about if I want to say starts at 80 and I want it to be 30 pixels high? Okay, so I think that we can now create the pipe. And there's actually one more thing that we want to do. So since this is a function, these variables are actually pipe. This can be local because we want to make many of them. Local pipe 2. And we want to return something. We want to return a table with the that has a top value, and the top will be pipe, and the bottom will be pipe 2. Okay, so now we have a function that generates a pipe and returns it here. But now we have broken our draw because pipe does not exist anymore. Or we have broken our overlap because we're just giving a pipe here and there's no pipe anymore, because now these are local variables. They're not accessible from the outside, and instead they are returned. So what we want to do is to prepare for having multiple pipes. We will go to the init function and we will say pipes equals an empty table. And we will say local p, short for pipe, is the result of create pipe. So now we will have a p dot top and p dot bottom. Now we can do add pipes p. So this adds p to the list of pipes. And now where we are checking for the collision, so let's find overlap. Okay, where is okay, if overlap player pipe, if overlap player pipe 2, game state equals game over. So what we want to do is we want to now loop over all the pipes that we have in the pipes table. There might be many of them because we will have a longer level. So we can do for pipe in all pipes do end. So now we have a loop. The loop will be called once for each pipe in the pipe table, and that pipe will be assigned to this variable. So I can call this pipe in loop, for example, to make it clear that this is the pipe that is being operated on at the moment in this loop. And now I know that the pipe in loop has a top. I'll just put it back to pipe for clarity. Has a top, and it has a pipe. It has a bottom, because this is what we are returning from this function. So we need to check if either of them overlap. If overlap, player pipe dot top, and I think we can even say or. So it's if this is true or this is true, player pipe dot bottom, then end game state equals game over. Game over. So this should work, I think, and we can get rid of this now because there is no longer a global pipe and a pipe 2. Errors. Attempt to index global pipe, a nil value. Okay, so where are we saying? Okay, we're still drawing a pipe, but again we need to draw all the pipes. So we will again say for p in all pipes do end. Again, this can be called pipe, and it will reference the current pipe that is being iterated over. And we will say for every pipe that we have, we will say it's not pipe.x, but it will be pipe.top. And it's going to be a bit of a pain to retype this, but we can get through it. Pipe.top.y, pipe.top. Ooh, no, it's such a pain. I don't want to type pipe.top.w, pipe.top.y plus pipe.top.h. Whew. And same here. Maybe I can just put these on separate lines to make it a bit clearer. Okay, and now we have not pipe 2, but it'll be pipe.bottom. And I'll just copy this, add, and it's no longer pipe 2, it's just the pipe. So let's see, this should work. And it does work, perfect. Okay, and why did we do this tricky thing? Well, because now we can just create multiple pipes. We can do pipe is this thing, and let's create a local pipe 2. And this can be, so if the first one is at 50, we know the width is 32, so this can be plus 32 plus 20, so to give it 20 pixels of padding or spacing between. So this will be evaluated and the result will be put in, so you can do arithmetic in here. And now we should get 2 pipes, but we are not getting 2. Oh, okay, because I didn't add the pipe 2 to the pipes table, so I can do pipes p2, and now we should have a second pipe. And we do. Oh my god, that's so cool. Perfect. And now finally, I want to move the camera as well, and it was already pointed out in the comments of my last video. Thank you very much. I would have had to look this up otherwise, but the camera is actually quite easy to move. Pico 8 gives us a camera function. Oh, I'll just type in help camera. set a screen offset of -x and -y for all drawing operations. So this means that I can just say camera. I don't even know if this is supposed to be in draw or update, but I think it can be in either. Let's make it in draw then. So first thing, camera, and the x argument is, so let's see what do we get if we get player.x. Perfect. And let's say player.x -20 to give it a bit of space there as well. Okay, so now we have what looks like a game. And now you can basically create however many pipes you want. They can be of whatever size. Let's see if we get like this. And you can start making your levels. So thank you very much. I'll end it here, and I hope you join me in the future. Next time I think we will look at some more graphics, maybe some more screens, some more states. So yeah, should be fun. Thank you very much. See you.